Adam laid in his bed, sound asleep, oblivious to the happenings and goings of the night. Through his window crept a strange little misshapen creature. It eyed its prey silently, as Adam began to toss and turn, as the nightmare started. Welcome to Mythical Phylogeny Adventures. I'm your guide, Jason. Today, we look at the Dream Eater from Japanese folklore, the Baku. The Baku comes from Japan, but has ties back to China. There, it was referred to as Mu. It is said to have tusks and a trunk like an elephant, a cow tail, rhinoceros eyes and ears, tiger paws, and a bear's body. Yes, a mixed match of multiple animals. But fear not, this is because it was made from the leftovers after all other animals were created. It first appeared in the 14th century, but its dream-eating powers wasn't fully mentioned until the 17th century. Biologically, a fairly simple creature. It is meant as a symbol of hope in the darkness, a creature which spans the gap between the physical and the astral world. The Chinese Mu also had the power to eat dreams, and even held healing powers. The last the Baku lacks, but it is said to be a guardian. Nightmares are a common meal for it, but not that feeling. If you awake from a nightmare, you should say, "Baku-san, come eat my dreams," 3 times. But if you do so too often, it will also eat your hopes and leave you crestfallen. There are charms which can draw it to you to prevent nightmares. Stitch the kanji for Baku in your pillow, and little statues of it. But this should be done with care. In limited use, else it will take more. It also wards off evil spirits. So, what is this thing? Most people describe it as looking like a tapir. This is a more recent appearance. Its looks have changed over the years, until it looks more like a tapir. Tapir are kind of odd-toed ungulate, similar to rhinos. Baku is actually the inspiration for the Pokemon Drowsy. What can we make of all this? How does it eat dreams? Brain activity? Dreams are part of REM sleep, or rapid eye movement, and is marked by certain brainwaves being present. It sounds like Baku feeds on this particular type of brainwave. REM sleep usually starts about 90 minutes after you fall asleep. Then you go through multiple cycles of REM sleep and non-REM sleep, with the last hour usually also being non-REM sleep. Can that sustain a creature? Well, not a normal one. Good thing Baku is of magical origins. Conceptually, it is using the electrical energy from the dreaming brain to sustain itself, potentially using the dream energy to set up an electrical gradient within its own brain and cells. How? This means its magic powers may fall into the psychic category, but nothing mentioning additional powers. There is another option. Dreams and nightmares aren't really its food source. Perhaps it devours the dreams to experience them itself, the same way you watch a movie or read a book. Does that mean that it doesn't sleep? No, it probably still does. It just enjoys the different experiences which humans bring to the table. Biologically, it is fairly simple. We need to elongate the tapir nose and make it similar to the muscular trunk of an elephant. The tusks are modified teeth turned outwards. Really very simple. Now, tapirs don't have claws, but nails. Yet this again is a very simple modification. The only thing to make it complicated is if it was designed to walk upright, and that would take just a small change in the pelvis alignment. Really, this is a pretty simple one. The only issues is this thing mostly hunts at night, and it has small eyes which aren't best for nocturnal vision. It is possible that it relies more on smell to hunt. That is just my speculation. Now, why aren't nightmares as filling? Could it be more difficult for it to digest? Maybe it is the sensation associated with them, fear being less substantial than hopes. Sadly, we are talking about devouring a thought, a concept, not something tangible. Does that mean that Baku can eat other thoughts? Nothing is ever said about it, except for hopes, an idealized thing which you strive for. It is a blurry line that we are attempting to figure out. Yet there is more to it. Why do harmful spirits fear it? Well, nightmares could harbor negative energy, same feelings and energy found in harmful spirits. Wouldn't you agree? How does it get into the house? Nothing talks about having other powers like shapeshifting or telekinesis. So that means it will need to get windows and doors open with its clawed hands, unless it doesn't require close proximity to feed. If it can do that from a distance, then it could sit outside the house and feed. That may be its best method. And it keeps it unseen for the most part. With a tiger-like paws, it should easily be able to climb onto the roof of a house. If its nose is extendable and flexible enough, that could sneak into a house to reach a person and suck up the nightmares. Yet the long nose may serve another purpose. How does it know where to go for nightmares to consume? At a larger size, it would open up more olfactory receptors and improve its sense of smell. But could it smell humans having a nightmare? Tell me, what was your last nightmare? Terrifying or humiliating? Did you wake up in a cold sweat? Fear is a common response. That means an increase in adrenaline in the bloodstream. That could produce a smell which Baku can pick up. And when humans are asleep, there is only one cause. That means it smells the humans sweating, and that attracts it. Overall, this is a beneficial creature, rather than a threat. But how did the Japanese and Chinese come up with a creature so similar to an animal from so far away? The tapir are found in South America, but some species also found in Southeastern Asia. Could stories have spread that far? Most certainly. Now, there is one option that I haven't touched on yet. Baku is said to span between the physical and dream realms. Does that mean this creature can move across the astral planes, and that way enter houses and find distressed people, while remaining in the dream realm? This could serve as its best means of movement. Honestly, this could be the best sleep paralysis demon to have hiding in your room. How does it hear the recital? Well, if psychic, it should be able to sense the rhythmic pattern from a distance, through the same method it uses to devour nightmares. How would you battle a Baku? Well, you're probably allied with evil spirits then. But let's look at it. It has tusks and claws which can hurt. Due to its size, any armor would offer protection, chainmail being the weakest option here. There is a chance that you could get stabbed with its tusk if it gets a good charge at you, but probably not. Better yet, something with arcane wards to shield you from it. Any weapon will seem to harm it if it is on the physical plane, but useless if it does exist on the astral plane, at which point magic is going to be your best option. Personally, I would think psychic arts would be the greatest impact on it, but most encounters occur at night while sleeping. While you are defenseless, prepare your home, set protective barriers around. Most sources say to stitch the ward into your pillow. You could lay traps, but be sure that you aren't known for sleepwalking. If you need to lure it in, sleep and nightmare generating spells are going to be important. Get a bunch of people together, and the Baku will come. Chances are you won't want to kill it, so non-lethal attacks. Setting a net trap wouldn't be a bad idea if it is physical, or surrounding the camp with thick mud or slick ice would handicap it enough to bring it home. If it does travel to the dream realm, catching it may be more tricky. Basically, you would need to learn the art of lucid dreaming. Then you could warp things to trap Baku. but if you are a good lucid dreamer, you probably could just dispel the nightmare on your own. Honestly, chances are it'll just wander up to you no problem and follow you home without a fight. Yeah, this isn't a complicated fight to be sure. Baku isn't normally harmful, and why I'm giving it a 2 of 10 for difficulty. This isn't something that you're likely to find yourself in battle with. Baku is an ally, a guardian and protector. This is a magical creature, which is often willingly brought into your house. In a fantasy series, they would likely keep them as pets and guard dogs, doubly so as they ward off evil spirits and yokai. It seems to drain them the same way it consumes nightmares. If we follow the idea that it devours conceptual things, then its powers would be more effective against spiritual creatures rather than corporeal foes. Let it wander near your bed while you sleep. If it feeds regularly, it should be fine, but that does increase the risk of it overeating, so be careful with it, but you should be fine. But after wars and disasters, they could help with trauma, quiet the streams and nightmares which come after such events. They may be found near shrines, temples, and hospitals in a fantasy setting. I mean, who doesn't dream of having a perfect night's sleep, where you wake up refreshed and ready to face the day? That is part of what Baku can offer. This is a blessing to befriend. If you are going after dangerous creatures, the Baku can accompany you. It can shield and protect you from malicious spirits. Think of it as your magical guard dog here. Though chances are it'll be weak if drawn into a fight, and you'll need to protect it. Like I said, it is probably better designed for a spiritual foe rather than a thug with an axe. Just don't rely on it too much, else it may start eating more than just your nightmares. One option is to have it go between houses in the community. Now you can't predict when someone is going to get a nightmare, but reciting the saying can call it to your side. They could be similar to stray cats dealing with rodents. Adam blinked as his nightmare ended. Try as he might, he had no memory of it. Not a hint remained. Outside the house, Baku wandered off with a full belly. At least until the next nightmare came. Baku is a curious little creature, a blessing to meet. Sadly, not that complicated, except for its bizarre diet. Thank you for watching, adventurers. Please return next time for Nyan. Until then, I'll see you on the roads.